Well, hello everybody. That's my train whistle. Scout is cheerful. We're here tonight on our second season, and our guest tonight is Carson Ketcham. Now, Carson is my niece's son, who has recently become an Eagle Scout. They live in Tallahassee, and they live right around the corner of where my grandparents live. Y'all still live there, don't you? Out on
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes.
sir.
All right. Well, Carson's going to tell a little bit about himself, but I sort of thought that some of our family relationships might be interesting. Carson comes from a background of, I think it's a pretty good background. His grandfather, Tommy, my stepbrother, was an Eagle Scout, and his brother, David, was an Eagle Scout, and I was, and my brother, Mark was, and my older brother, CL, was a scout. He was got to be Star Scout back in the old days, and so we've had a real run of it. And then of course Carson's God, let me keep everybody straight here. Carson's mother's cousins. There are a lot of Eagle Scouts. Maybe
Right.
Carson can say some of them. I don't want to leave out anybody, but there's the McBride family. There's Stuart Jones and
Yeah.
Alex and Zeb Chandler and and then Bryant Chandler. I mean, just been a lot of us. We had a real scouting family is what we did. Now,
Right.
Carson, tell me about yourself, what you're interested in, and we're going to get into kind of fishing in a little while. All right.
All right. Well, yes, sir. So first off, I just want to say, of course, thank y'all because I wouldn't have been able to get my Eagle Scout without the entire family pushing me that way to get it. So I really do appreciate it. But I am going into my senior year at Leon High School. I did play sports. I played football and I wrestled, but during my football season, I tore my ACL. So it was a pretty rough injury.
Yeah. Well, tell me, when did you start scouting? As a Cub Scout?
Yes, sir. So I started at my elementary school, Gilchrist Elementary, PEC 114, and I was kind of pushed into it by my dad, but I really am glad I did it.
Yeah. And so tell me, but I want to know something about camping down there in Florida. Do y'all have a hell of a lot of, I mean, excuse me, I don't mean to cuss, but do you have are mosquitoes a terrible problem when y'all camp down there?
Well, yeah. So the funny thing about it is for us Floridians, it's always so cold in the winter when we camp, and it's always so hot in the summer. And the hotness brings the mosquitoes, and then the winter, of course, it's just so cold that you can't even really do anything.
How cold could it be? It doesn't
Well,
freeze much. I mean, we have
well,
people.
for us, 60 degrees is like freezing. We don't even know
Oh,
what to do.
all right. Well, I understand. I play soccer with guys from Mexico, and they'll on a 60-degree days they'll think it's cold. But
Yeah.
so, so all right. Well, tell me about your mother. I was kind of surprised to find that your mother had been active in the council. Is she there?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Here, let me see.
Yeah, yeah. All
Scoot on
right.
over. Sorry.
No, that's all right.
She's gonna pop in and say hi.
That sounds fine.
Let's put this in. See if they can.
Hey there, Laura.
Hey, Walker. Good to see you.
It's good to see you. I was so proud to find out that you had been active in the council. And when Terry Whitaker told me how he knew y'all and everything, it was just that was just amazing. How many years were you on the board there? Do you call it the board?
It is. Yes. And so I've been on the board since 2004. So I
Yes.
was lucky enough to serve with Terry, who is just remarkable and excellent. And we were sad to see him go, but I know he is very happy where he is. And so we have a new scout executive, Michael Moore, who is also excellent. And so I am currently still on the board.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's great. I'm glad to hear it. And for the rest of you out there, I just want y'all to know that Laura is a distinguished attorney. And I mean, she is. And her father was a prosecutor in Fulton County for a long time, and Tommy is her father's a great lawyer, and
He is.
and so tell me, Laura, what is your job description right now? What kind of law work do you do?
So I am a law clerk for an appellate judge here in Florida. So in Florida, we have 6 appellate districts, which is unusual because Georgia, just has the one appeals court, but we have 6. And so I am in the 1st district, which we go kind of close to Jacksonville, dip down to Gainesville area, and then go over to the west. So we have a pretty large jurisdiction, and I do research and writing for a judge on the court.
Well, when I looked up and got ready for this tonight, I didn't realize that your council there goes all the way over to Seminole County and Decatur County in Georgia. And it will tell a little bit. Anybody that wants to, by the way, can look up the Suwannee River Council, and they can see the map of what all counties that takes in. But it's quite a large area.
It is a large area. I think, is it 13 counties? Yeah. Is that correct? 13 counties.
Yep.
And a lot of the counties surrounding, Tallahassee, obviously, in Leon County, and then Wallwood, right, which is where the big recreational area for the Scouts is actually in Quincy. So that's in Gadsden County. Yeah. So we serve kind of a larger region, which is nice, to kind of see the differences between the different counties and that kind of thing.
Well, that's great. Over in Seminole, that's where my grandfather lived, and then that's where my first cousin lived over there on Lake Seminole, and we're going to get into fishing right here. And Laura, thank you so much for all.
Thanks for having Carson.
Well, one thing I wanted you to put in is, how much trouble do you think it has been to be on the council? I mean, on the council's board. It's I try to make sure that adults understand that it's what we do in life. We give back, but it's my time in scouting has not been a burden, not really.
I will say that, I think the reason a friend of mine asked me to join, and the reason I did was because of the tremendous amount of volunteer efforts that a lot of his troop leaders, for years and years and years, have given. And we are so appreciative of it. This was a small piece that I could do. And as far as time requirement, it's not much. We meet, I think, maybe 5 or 6 times a year. And we have, a board meeting. A lot of times it can be done via Zoom. We have a very robust executive council that does a lot of the heavy lifting. And so as far as time requirement, it's an easy way to give back. A lot of what we do is, fundraising and that kind of thing. But it's not too much time, as far as I know. Sometimes the troop leaders and den leaders, and that can be very time consuming, depending on people that maybe don't have as much time to give. This would be a really good thing, to offer, and different skill sets and different people's abilities, to kind of contribute, because it isn't a wonderful organization. But as you said, it kind of takes us all contributing to make it the best it can be.
Yes. Well, we hope to have people all over the world be listening to our podcast as we spread. And so we won't, and that's true all over the world, that same way. I tell everybody that scouting cannot prosper without a lot of adult involvement. And but of course it's scout leadership. That's where you learn leadership. But adults have to be there. And of course Baden Powell and all those guys knew that. And so that's why we have such a robust international scout program. It's because of all the adult involvement. Thank you, Laura.
I was just going to say, that is really, I think, what he can speak more to it, but really what is so great to see about the particular troop that he's in, because a lot of them are, their sons are now going through, and they grew up in the troop. And so they've really kind of given back and spent a lot of time with, as a child, and then now as an adult on the other side. And I think they're so invested in the success of it. When he went to his court of honor, we had judges, we had, really respectable people in the community that are just willing to donate a lot of their time to come back every time there's a court of honor, just because they really love being a part of it. So that is really, I think, what's so special, and what has been so special to see about Troop 109 in particular, just for us personally witnessing that, it's just how invested the leaders are. And that truly lifts the kids up and helps them to achieve success when they know that not only their mom and dad or their loved one at home or whomever is pushing them, but it's also their leaders that are holding them, to account and saying, hey, you need to get this done, and we're waiting for you to get it done, and we're expecting you to get it done. So that, on our side, we really appreciated that. So
all right, well, thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right now, Carson, we were going to talk some about fishing, and so I made a few notes here. And another thing, I was kind of surprised because I looked on the internet about the fishing merit badge, and I found that it has all kinds of links to videos that you can see how to clean a fish.
Right.
And one thing that I found interesting was the lead in to it, where it said, let's see where I can find this. The lead in said something like, the Scouts consider fishing to be very important survival skill. And I didn't even think of that aspect of it. I think of it as being just a sport, but there've been many a man who's had to survive by fishing. So tell me about how you got interested in fishing and your history of fishing.
Well, I would obviously say it started with my grandpa, Tom Jones. He's an avid fisherman. That's all he does is fish and hunt. So he kind of brought me into it. And I'd say, obviously living in Florida, we fish all the time. That's all we're doing. But I would say, I started right around 8. But I would say, I think why I liked fishing so much as a scouting merit badge was I learned all the ins and outs of fishing, if that makes sense. Like I learned, why we fish, why we clean the fish, the proper way to tie a line. I always kind of had people, I just would be handed a fishing rod, line already tied, bobber on, bait ready to go, and I'd just be ready to cast. But I feel like the fishing merit badge kind of helped me learn to do all those things by myself. So, I don't really have to rely on anybody else.
I noticed that and I'm not much of a fisherman, but that business about tying on hooks is it's not just a square knot,
right.
It'll slip right out. And so you have to have the specialized knots. And then of course you have all kinds of different hooks. Do you ever, have you been fishing on the ocean down there?
Yes, sir. So I actually took my, very first offshore fishing trip last summer in the Keys, and that was awesome. We fished for yellowtail and grouper. We had a great time, but that was kind of my first big fishing experience. Was that?
Yep. Have you gone to any of the major high adventure camps like the Sea Base down there?
No, I really wish I did, and everybody that's listening, if you are a young scout, I definitely encourage y'all to go because I had friends that went and they said it's the best thing that they've ever done in scouting.
Well, a lot of people say Philmont is the best thing.
Right. Yeah.
Now, of course, our Elliott went up to the northern tier. He did.
Oh,
that.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And so that's a great adventure. A lot of people, scouts and adults, don't realize. And what I try to tell people is that when you're a scout or an official scouter, you own all these places.
Right.
You own the northern tier, you own Philmont, you own the Sea Base and the big place up in West Virginia now. And so it's a fantastic infrastructure and opportunities for people. So tell us more about fishing there in Florida. What y'all's fishing life is like there.
So obviously I'd say probably the big thing is for off the coast is we kind of categorize it like you have your sporting fishermen and then you have your adventure fishermen, right? So your adventure fishermen, those are the people that are kind of chasing the tarpon or, your swordfish, or you're like, we just call them big thrills. So those are fish that, are really dangerous to handle and, they're really huge and it takes a long time to get them in. But then your sporting fishermen, they're more of like redfish, grouper, just kind of like the basic stuff that, you can find out in the ocean. And then, of course, you have your freshwater people that are bass, bluegill, all that kind of stuff.
Well, you say all that kind of stuff and you say all these fish. Well, but for those of us who are not ichthyologists, isn't that what it's called, ichthyology?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, for those who are not ichthyologists, maybe when you say a bluegill, you should say about how big they are. They're about from a half pound to 2 pounds, I believe. Right. And so, so what's a swordfish? I mean, a big one's about 300 pounds, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. And I think, I had a lucky experience. My buddy owns a place at Alligator Point, which is right off the coast. And we went offshore just a little bit, and we were able to hook into a tarpon, which is, those are the huge kind of, everybody in Florida's after a tarpon. And I think that was probably the peak of my fishing experience. I mean, those things are 270 pounds. And I mean, they fight like heck, and then they jump out of the water, and so it's awesome.
Well, and I assume you eat them, right?
Right. Yeah, if you can get them in the boat.
Well, and I believe you have to use a gaff to get a fish that big in. So tell our listeners what a gaff is.
So a gaff, almost think of it. I mean, the way that I kind of describe it is like a giant fishing hook, right? So when you're reeling your fish in and you got them close to the boat, they're so big, like with your bass or your bluegill, you can kind of just pick them up out of the water because they're not super heavy. But with your tarpon, you kind of have to gaff it, which you stick that end of that pointy end of that fishing hook into the stomach of the tarpon, and it helps you lift it and put it in the boat.
And I believe it has a pole on it, like a wooden pole. Yeah. So you have about a 6 or 8 foot reach.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think a lot of us we've seen movies and stuff, but most of us haven't been out on boats out in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I've always wondered about when they say, for example, a fishing line has a 15-pound test, but you are landing a fish that weighs more than that. Isn't that correct? I mean, you have to, your line can't be too thick, but it's got to be thick enough and so forth. Tell us a little bit about lines and hooks, so that for those of us who don't know anything about fishing.
So, I mean, obviously there's thousands of different lines and hooks, but usually you want, so the test, right? So, you have a 15-pound test. What usually that expands to is about a 20-pound test. So it's almost like, I don't really know how to describe it, but you know how you have like a sell by date, right? Where it's like, you have to sell this. It's kind of like that, right? It recommends you, it can hold a 15-pound fish for sure. But, you usually have about a 5 to 10 more pounds, if that makes sense. So, you could hook into a 25 pound and it would be okay, but there is a chance it would snap, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Tell me something. Sometimes we see reels about usually turtles or other sea animals getting having fishing line on them, or for that matter, plastic bags or other trash that's in the water. Is there a what would you call a plan to not have that happen? Do y'all kind of like clean up behind yourself some way?
Right. I mean, obviously leave no trace. I mean, that's straight. But I think, it's hard because, I think everybody goes, I can pick this up and I should pick this up. But also people are thinking, people tend to have fear of the water, right? So, you're pretty far out from the land or something. So it's kind of hard to grab it. So, but I mean, we obviously make sure that our space is clean and stuff. But I think it's also kind of hard for people to maybe turn the boat around to pick up their stuff. And, obviously they think, oh, it's just one fishing line. It's just one plastic bag. It'll do no harm. But I mean, obviously, you tell me about it, but it makes a huge impact. I know it seems little and small, but I mean those stuff, like even a fishing line, like a little plastic bag, that can, I mean, kill an animal.
Yep.
Right
You
there.
know, have you ever done any much scuba diving or snorkeling?
So, I wish I did. I haven't. I've done snorkeling a little bit, but down in Florida, the huge one, and if you go to sea base, you get scuba certified. But a lot of people down here love to dive, which means you get your scuba tank on and stuff, but you get your spear gun and you go spear fishing, and that
Yeah.
is like all the craze in Florida. Everybody's doing it, so I got to get scuba certified.
Yeah. I've heard that one of the reasons why when you're scuba diving you carry a knife is if you get tangled up in line.
Right.
Because you can't break a line with your hands, not if
Right.
it's the least bit strong. And so I can just see being down under the water, tangled up in some heavy fish line, and so you got to have a good sharp knife, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, spearfishing sounds like a real great deal. It sounds almost like James Bond in one of those old movies. I might have. I took scuba diving classes here in Peachtree City, and I was surprised with modern equipment because when I was a kid, I always look at the James Bond movie with the tank and the little rubber tube.
Yeah.
They cut the tube of the bad guy and all that. But now you have the whole vest and the inflatable. They're wonderful.
Right.
So have you had any training at all in that yet?
No, sir. But I mean, I've been out with a few friends who were scuba certified, so I got to see them dive.
Yeah,
and that's pretty cool.
Yep. What are your plans for the near future? Are you planning on going to college, or are you planning on joining the Marines or something?
Right now, college. I think the college process is really difficult, and I think it's hard because it's all about the test scores and stuff. And somebody like me, I don't test very great, but my grades are there. But I'm hoping like my extracurricular activities, like an Eagle Scout, will help kind of push me past those people, if that makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense. For some reason, I think about when I said Marines. It made me think. I made a few notes here, and that Carson Green, Tommy's uncle, was a Marine, and Tommy's father was, of course, a Navy dentist during the war.
Yeah,
and so Carson, and then Tommy's great grandfather was named Carson, also. So it's just there's something about they say once a Marine, always a Marine.
Right. Yeah.
So I've got a good idea.
What's that?
I think we should plan to do a genealogy merit badge overview with the whole giant branches of your family. That would be fun.
Yeah,
that would be cool. And family life. We could do family life too.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah. That's not a bad idea. It's when I was a child, my father married a widow, and she had 2 children, one of whom was Tommy, and he had 3. He was a widower, and then they had 2 more children, and they thought it was very important for us to visit and get to know our cousins and all of our relatives. So I would stay there in Tallahassee with my grandparents, right on that, what's it called, East Park. That's right. East Park, and then my aunt lived over on another place about a mile away, and my cousin and I had a heck of a good relationship. But it was cousins are cousins, and it's great for them to be together and spend the time it takes.
We've got some of the kids' cousins here right now.
That's great.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it
is. Well, speaking of cousins, let me flesh out this idea right here, right now, just because I had it and we're live, and this is what we're going to do.
That's right.
We got a new segment on AIDS to Scouting called Mail Time or something. I got some mail. Don't look at my address, you weirdos. All right. So here we go. Speaking of the genealogy merit badge, we can make this a fun follow-up when we talk about this again. I got here I got for Melody her birthday one of those fun things where you can send your spit to the internet.
Oh, well, I hear
Oh,
that. Well, yeah, but the problem with that is that you're being a Chinese database.
Well, I'm
when
already
they,
there 10
when,
times over, I'm sure. I've got
yeah.
Facebook and Instagram, you know.
Oh, I was watching something today, and it was talking about face recognition software, and it doesn't matter how much you try to hide who you
Yeah,
are.
yeah, they got you.
They got you.
They got you. So I may as well find out some cousins, right? So
That's right.
I got some for most of the members of my family.
Sounds good.
But
Sounds
anyways,
good.
we'll follow up
Da-
on the internet spit later.
So Carson, tell me, did you and your mother try to make a count of the Eagle Scouts in our family?
Yeah, we tried, but it's so hard.
Yeah, when I'm doing the Baden-Powell Act, I tell people it's not a matter of not a matter of Eagle. It's a matter of first-class citizens, first-class scout. What do you think about the addition of girls in scouting? How's that seem to you to work out?
Well, so it's weird. So our troop, Troop 109, said no, they're not doing it. So we've had no girls. I do think it's. I see both sides of it, right? I see the side where you want girls to be included, but I also see the side where they have a thing called Girl Scouts, right? That you basically essentially get the same stuff, but I think Boy Scouts. I think it's kind of branching out now, and I think it's huge. And I think that if the more people that we have as scouts, I think that the more the merrier. So,
yep. Well, tell me, what would you, if you were in charge of the council's membership drive, what do you think would bring in more scouts than now? And I don't know what percentage of boys in your council are in scouts, but let's say it's 10%, and you had a goal of 20 or 30%. Do you have an idea of how that could be done?
well, I obviously think, it's such different times now from when you were in scouts, but the huge one is social media. I feel like that the Boy Scouts of America really don't have a social media presence, right? And I think that that's how you reach my generation now. Is you post on Instagram, you post on TikTok and all that stuff. And I think if you're able to do that, a lot more people are going to be interested, because it's kind of hard if you're not in a scouting family and you're kind of outside the scouting community to, find a troop or find something to be a part of. But I think if we had those Instagram posts or something like that, kids could look at it, and that's an easy fix.
Well, that's what this is about. That's why we have Aids to Scouting, is at least, our original idea was that we were going to be, the Baden-Powell we're going to have, so Baden-Powell would have come on, and then you'd have had Baden-Powell talking to this scout or this expert fisherman or something, and so forth, and all these different subjects. And we still haven't done a really good one on life saving yet, and that's important. We have done one on wilderness camping and wilderness first aid, rather, but I've always thought that first aid and life saving are the two huge skills that must be learned by anybody calling himself a first class scout. In fact, I noticed when I looked at the thing about fishing merit badge, they had right below it, they had other badges that were important to it. And I noticed they also have things in fishing merit badge about first aid. What do you do when somebody has a hook stuck in it, but I think that's good. I think you're right, and that's what we're trying to do. So we hope to have this spread a lot, and scouting's doing pretty well in places like Kenya and Southeast Asia. I just want it to have a resurgence here in the United States, because I think it's needed by a lot of kids. Maybe what do you think about the need of scouting that people your age and younger have?
Well, I mean, there's a huge need. I think that, at least for me, I became so much more confident through scouting. I mean, it taught me how to be a leader and stuff. And I think that it also puts you in uncomfortable situations, right? You're out in the wilderness in a tent. I think being able to have those experiences so young in my life, I think that helped me so much more to be more confident and to kind of push myself to go outside of my comfort zone. So I think that's why scouting is needed. Because, I mean, kids are just, there's no real leadership. Nobody's kind of pushing them, and they're just okay with being average.
Well, I was thinking too there, it's easy for me to sit back as an old man and be a curmudgeon and say, say that kids are spending too much time on the sofa playing video games. But it does look like a large percentage of boys are sitting on sofas playing video games.
Right.
And they need the outdoor experience.
Mm-hmm.
And the bugs and the cold. I mean, and I'm talking about real cold here. I'm not talking about 60 degrees. I'm talking about 20 below zero cold. Dad, burn it. Hey, well, Carson, have you ever gone snow skiing?
One time, and I don't even know if it's considered. I went up to North Carolina where they had the fake snow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was cold enough to keep it frozen. Yeah, so,
right.
Okay. All right. Well, I just wondered. I have one friend of mine whose son was a scout, and they were from northern Sweden, and they would go camping in the middle of the winter when it was 10 or 20 below, and the boy got in the Army, and he had to go on these patrols through the far north in that, when it's dark all the time at 20 and 30 below. So, it takes. That's one thing I think about scouting for both boys and some girls is that challenge of tough and uncomfortable, like you were saying, where you say, okay, snakes. What about snakes? Tell about snakes in Florida.
Well, so the huge one is a cottonmouth moccasin, and those puppies are scary because they just sliver through the water. And if they bite you, you're pretty much toast. So we have a large snake population, and it's kind of scary, like you go out in the woods and we'll go on camping trips, and, they'll be like, there's a cottonmouth moccasin, don't walk over it. And so you're all freaked out. But yeah, the snake population is huge down here.
Well, of course, y'all have coral snakes down there too.
Right.
And coral snakes, for those who don't know it in the world, the coral snakes have a different type of venomous bite. You have to, they don't have fangs, but they can chew on you and get their poison in you, and they're really dangerous. And then, of course, you have rattlesnakes, big ones down there, diamondback rattlesnakes, and for those of you out there who he's talking about, like a cottonmouth might be 7 or 8 feet long if it's big, but a diamondback might be 14 feet long.
Yeah.
But then also in Florida, have you ever seen the pythons there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The pythons are an invasive species in Florida, folks. And I don't know if y'all know it, but down in the Everglades, pythons, they need to kill them all if they can, because they eat everything, like all the raccoons and all the possums and every other thing they can get their coils around. So their pythons are really something, and they get to be 20 and 25 feet long. They're huge. And they're from South America too, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the dangers? I know Florida has more lightning strikes than anywhere else in the United States. So I don't know if you knew that, but
I did not.
It does. I've heard that more people get killed by lightning in the South than ever get killed by snakes. So, so it's just something that we all need to think about and try to.
I think you're really lucky to be able to see a snake coming. That lightning just happens.
Yeah. Well, that's right. That's when the Lord wants you to go home. But
it takes the long way, right?
Well, of course, in lightning, the trick on that is don't put yourself in a place where you stand a greater chance of being hit, like on a prominence or by one lone tree or something like that.
Walking around holding antennas and
Yep,
stuff. You
that's
can't do
right.
that. You got to stop doing that.
Or golf clubs over your
Yeah,
head, you know?
yeah. If that's your hobby, they're not supposed to be up here. They're supposed to be down here. All right. Be careful out there.
Well, Carson, I've seen some drawings that were done by the Spanish explorers where they showed them killing alligators that were like 15 or 20 feet long, and they were using a pole down its mouth or something. But I'm sure y'all find alligators all the time on camping trips, don't you?
Yeah. So that's actually a funny story. We go camping. I don't know if y'all have been to St. George.
I know where it is. I know where it is. Yeah.
So there's a little St. George, and it's like right across, and it's like our big camping trip where we have to hike like 7 miles.
Yeah.
But what they don't tell you is it used to be owned by somebody who was really rich, and he dumped a bunch of wild animals on there as his like private zoo. So my dad was actually sleeping right by a pond one time, and he had 2 alligators that when he woke up, walked right out of his tent and turned left, and they were like 2 feet right next to him. And
that would scare the mess out of me.
Well, well, your grandfather was camping in Colorado or someplace with his brother David, my other stepbrother, and so Tommy said he heard something and he got up in his tent and he stood up and there was a bear looking in the tent and he goes ah, and the bear goes ah, and they both run in different directions. You might ask him about that. I think it was a true story. So. But yeah, Tommy's had a lot of adventures in his life.
Yes, he has.
Yeah. He was in the Army and he was in the armor, and they were, and he had some interesting adventures. I think he'll tell you about one in Morocco if you ask him. So that's great. What have you thought about much of military service at some point?
I mean, we have military people that come to our school and talk to us and stuff. And I have, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm cut out for it. I don't know if I'm, it's tough and it's a commitment. And, thank you to all of y'all that do that commitment, because that is a huge commitment. And so yes and no. I mean, I have thought about it. And but it is definitely a massive commitment.
Yeah. Well, you said you tore your ACL, right?
Right.
Well, you might be exempt these days.
Yeah.
No choice. You don't get to. Yeah. I don't really know the rules. Sorry, any recruiters that are listening. My bad. My bad. Don't mean to discourage anybody.
Yeah, I remember we had some. Never mind. We could talk war stories and all that, but
I want to tell about my military service. They wouldn't let me in to do it. I was going to be in the Navy because I was in Naval ROTC and Naval Junior ROTC, and I really enjoyed that program. And of course, Scouts. Whether you like it or not, it kind of sets you up for the attitude of being in the military. You're with your group of people and I don't know, the teamwork, the patrol method, that it's all modeled that way. So I was ready, real geared up, but I was also on ADHD medication, and they didn't want me to be on it for 2 years. And by the time I was on my 2-year mark working where I'm working now, I was like, I'll just stay here. I don't want to go in the Navy anymore.
Well, one thing that's interesting, I believe it's still true, but they have a rank system, E1, E2, E3, and if you're an Eagle Scout, you start out at an E3.
I think wow. E2 or E3, something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Essentially, you're a corporal. You're not a private.
Which is neat.
You're not a PFC. I think that's how it used to be. And of course, it used to be that at the service academies, like almost all of the men that were entered into the service academies had been scouts, and about 60 or 70% had been Eagle Scouts.
It's no mistake. It's certainly purposeful. But in addition to that, oh man, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, no, that's a great
That's
point.
that ADHD strikes
There it is.
again.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm not on the meds anymore. There's your proof right in there. There's your proof. I really did stop taking them.
Yeah.
The military service, Navy, ROTC. I can't. Whatever. I
You know,
won't get to it.
yeah, I was, your cousin or your second cousin, Alex. I always thought he would have been great in the Coast Guard because
Yeah.
the Coast Guard would, where, especially in a place like Florida, where you have they're out there and they have those seaborne rescues, and it takes bravery, real serious bravery, and a serious bunch of training to do that kind of work. And I think the Coast Guard's it's not an ignored service. It's a very important service.
Okay.
And of course nowadays, for the last 40 years, they've also had drug interdiction problems and that kind of thing that they have to do. So
that's important. I remember what I was going to say. You had mentioned about the rank thing, you going in as E2 or E3 into the military. And you had mentioned earlier, Carson, that you felt like being an Eagle Scout gives you a little bit of a one-up. Well, there, proof in the pudding, right there.
Yeah,
that's right.
I wanted to ask something after learning that your mother was really involved in the board and the program in general. My dad was, I think he might be listening right now, watching the show, because he's real proud of me, And I said, I was thinking, he was heavily involved in the program on the volunteer side, much like your mom was, and did a lot of the wood badge, lots of trainings. And that made me feel, as his son and as the scout in the situation, that it gave me a one-up even then, pre Eagle Scout one-up, of course. But do you feel the same way? And I don't mean it in a negative fashion. I really mean it made me feel like, hey, there's few more doors are cracked open for me. Not wide open. I still had to do all the stuff to get where I wanted to go. But did you feel the same way? The doors were cracked a little bit easier?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I feel like, we have a Eagle Scout banquet where all the Eagle Scouts go and, you meet each other. And about everybody on the Suwannee River Area Council board knew my name. And I didn't even really know them. But it was awesome to kind of have that one up on everybody else, everybody coming to me first and congratulating me. So, yeah, I'd say 100%.
And I don't bring that up to make any kid feel like they're being left out. I bring it up for the parents that are nervous about, well, I don't want to get too involved and steal my kid's thunder or anything. What these parents need to understand is that the progression and advancement that it gives your child to have just that little bit of an extra footing. And this is why we need to have the parents more involved. They really got to come to these meetings, listen, see what's going on, get off the phone and hang out and talk to the other parents. And I mean, shoot, just for another parents thing, I'll say again, in being a parent in my kids' troop now, I've made some really cool friends and went to go. This is not scout related, but it's still scout related. I went and performed at an open mic night last night and sang and played guitar for a bunch of people because I have a friend whose wife owns the taco shop where they do the open mic night. And he said, why don't you come on down? I was like, I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could handle. But I went down there, and if it wasn't for my friend there, I wouldn't have done it. So go out there, parents. Make some scout parent friends. Do the thing. It's a fun thing.
I just thought before I forget it, see that painting behind Carson right there?
Yeah.
My mother did that. Tommy's mother painted that. In fact, she was quite the painter, and it has all these oil paintings that she produced over a period of 40 years. And so we have them throughout the family. You'll go to people's houses and they'll be up there. And I've got probably 8 of them here in this house. So so I just thought I'd mention that because, of course, scouting has art merit badges. What other merit badges did you have, Carson, that are not the required ones?
Let's see. I'm looking at it right now. I've got.
Pull it off and look at it. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
So let me see. I've got architecture. I've got forestry. I've got fishing. I've got rifle shooting and shotgun. I've got horseback riding.
Tell me about.
got-
Can you tell me about your horsemanship or horseback riding merit badge experience?
Yeah. So I was offered to me at Daniel Boone this summer camp up there, and I just needed a merit badge to fill. And I was like, well, that seems like something that I can hold over a lot of people's head. I learned how to ride a horse. So we got to ride it up a mountain, and it was awesome. It really was. I mean, you learned how to take care of it. And
did you get scared of riding the horse? Was that your first
Oh yeah.
time?
It's
nerve wracking a little bit.
Yeah.
They're big, intimidating animals. They really are.
They really are.
I took my horsemanship mirror back. I only asked you because I wanted to tell my story. I'm sorry that's shameful, but it's true. I took it at I'm pretty sure it was Camp Tuckabatchee over in Alabama. Great camp, beautiful camp. I get there and we do the first day was just class. We didn't really meet the horses the first day. I don't even think they were on camp. And so we did the classroom thing and we're all getting excited and we're learning all the terminology and the parts of the horse and all this stuff and how much is a hand worth when you're measuring it and all that stuff. And the second day we had the horses there, and I have never ridden a horse. I've seen them. I've even probably pat them on the head. And I got near them and I found out the hard way that I'm allergic to horses very severely. Not quite, throat swelling, but eyes swelling shut, nose dripping everywhere. It was so awful. But I finished the merit badge. I was all drilled up, and I don't remember the final 2 days because I was so tired and had so much Benadryl and probably dehydrated and hot. So hot. It was so hot. But anyways, can't ride horses.
Now just for you guys to let you know, I used to own a horse, and I kept about 5 horses all together. And we had these long rides out across the country and jumps through the woods and all that. But I never did an overnight camping thing like out west or something.
Oh, that would be fun.
Oh, it would be. And also I think I wish that Camp Thunder had at least a couple of horses, because a lot of children have never met a horse.
Wow.
And if you are allergic to them, they smell great right here. There's a wonderful smell that a horse has.
That's
now
cool.
the picking out their hooves and all that stuff you have to do, and you can get hurt on a horse, but you can get hurt on a diving board. You can get hurt fishing. I mean, so and you get hurt with
you get hurt walking around.
That's right. And you get hurt stepping on a rattlesnake or a moccasin. Yeah. But that's one thing about scouting is it accepts the idea, and it needs to accept the idea that life is full of dangers, and we need to be prepared to meet those dangers. And if something happens bad, we need to know what to do then. Carson, I tell a lot of kids, especially when I'm doing Baden Powell, I said, getting a first aid accomplishment on second class or first aid merit badge, it's not about getting a badge. It's about your mother might be dying and you've got to do something and save her, and that sort of thing happens. And so the question is, are you going to call 911 and watch her bleed out, or are you going to do something? And if you try to do something, or do you know what you're doing? So first aid is something that we always have to be practicing and thinking about all our lives, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, no, it's a good opinion, and a lot of people hold the same one, I'm sure.
Yeah. What about you, Carson? What do you think first aid did for you, the training that Scouts gave you?
Oh, I mean, I know how to work a defibrillator now. I know how to.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I know how to make a tourniquet out of sticks. I know how to. I mean, there's so many things that I had no clue.
Yeah, they're too many to fit.
Yeah, there's. So I think I kind of agree with you. I think it's probably one of, if not the most important things that you learn in scouting.
That's one of the things I think about these kids in school that aren't in Scouts. Where are they going to ever learn first aid? Where are they going to ever learn life saving, or or horsemanship, or canoeing? I assume you've got canoeing merit badge.
Yeah, I've got canoeing and I've got the motorboat.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I used to teach canoeing and rowing at Burt Adams. We didn't have motorboating back then, but that whole thing about what do you do if you're swamped? How do you get back in the boat? How do you empty it? That's one of the Carson. Your uncle David, great uncle David.
Yeah.
He was a world-class kayaker.
Mm-hmm.
And an Eagle Scout also, and he won the Helen to Atlanta canoe race twice, and that's about 100-mile race, I suppose.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to ask you, Carson. Have you ever, outside of camp or meeting, or even especially outside of any other scouts being around, like in a school situation or something like that, have you ever jumped into scout mode and felt comfortable and not weird or quirky about it? I'm sure you know exactly what I mean with that question. You know what I mean.
So this is pretty interesting. So my brother has special needs.
Okay.
So at Leon, they offer a program called Lions United, which is basically it's like a program for the special needs students, for them to, just take a class as like one whole group to kind of just feel involved. So I signed up for that class, and one of what the class I got put in was a music class. Mm-hmm. And so I had two good friends in that class, who were special needs, Kai and Cayenne. Mm-hmm. And both of them were really nervous about going up on stage to play in front of the whole school. And it was this whole thing that they didn't want to go. And I think if I didn't have scouting, I kind of would have been, because they had an opportunity to say no. The teacher let them, if you didn't want to go, you didn't have to. I think if I didn't have scouting and I didn't have that confidence, I don't think I was able to push them to be able to go up on that stage. And they went up on that stage. They crushed it. They had a great time. I mean, I saw the smiles on their face. Everybody was happy. And they came off the stage and they both said, "Thank you so much for pushing me to go out there." So that's definitely yeah.
That's so cool.
That is.
Cool. Did you attend National Youth Leadership Training?
No, sir, I did not.
Okay. Did you do? I guess they have ILST. You did any type of leadership training?
I don't think so. No.
Well, that's okay. Everybody doesn't have to. You get it if you pay attention enough in the regular course of things. You'll get the things that you need for that, which is that's where you get it. That's how you build that confidence. And do you have any other similar like? You jumped into just scout mode, that feeling that you get when you're doing something important at camp or doing something important on staff at camp or something like that.
I mean, I would definitely say like sports.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Tell me about that thing, because I'm sure you did some. You were a patrol leader at some point within your football team, right?
Right. And I mean, I think, at least for me, a public high school, there is it's a lot of undiscipline on the football team. And that's kind of the, people think that they're better than the program, better than the coach. And, they think, well, if I leave here, I can go off and I can do my own thing anywhere else. And I'm the best player in the world. So I think scouts kind of help me rein those people in. And just be like, work through the motions, go through the hard stuff, listen to the coach. And, you're going to be surprised when you step out on the field and you run through the motions and do exactly what your coach told you to do. It's going to work out fine. And you're going to even learn to be a better player. So I'd say definitely sports is kind of my personal scout mode is that's
you really tune it up right there.
Yeah.
I totally see what you mean. Well, gentlemen, we're quickly approaching 1 hour, and at exactly the 1 hour mark, our Instagram feed's going to cut right off because it just doesn't let us go for more than an hour.
Okay. That's the thing.
That is a thing.
Well, Carson, if I can hurry up, I'm looking at that. How would you try to get that social media connection out there if I put you in charge of all of Florida?
Well, I think if you can get in, like my high school, they have this student government page, and all the Leon County schools have a student government page. So I think if you were able to go to the student government, the head of it, and say, hey, could you post this on behalf of Leon High School, right? Like, Boy Scout Troop 109 meeting Monday, 7:00, right? And
Yeah.
I think if you're able to post that and get the student government to post that, I think that would work wonders. I mean, I think that because that's what the students follow. Yeah.
Then I assign you that duty.
Buckle up, Carson.
That's right.
It's a real ride out
That's
here.
right.
Right.
Okay, Elliott. Now you're steering the boat in terms of time here. So what else? What else do we want from Carson tonight besides his commitment to go to student government and say, "Listen, you guys."
I won't sign you up for that, Carson. I won't sign you up for that. I seem to be doing okay, but I could do better. I know. And all you people listening, you click share right now and like it right now.
There you go.
Comment something. I'm just messing around. But no, let's see. Do I have anything else? I wrote a couple of things down, but can you tell us a quick rundown of your Eagle Scout project, please?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So like I touched on before, my brother had special needs. Mm-hmm. And so he goes to a specialized school called Gretchen Everhart. And so I went to Gretchen Everhart and I talked to them and, asked what they needed. And they needed a, those little libraries, right? Where it's like you take a book, you leave a mm-hmm. book. So I kind of did that. So I built that. And that's kind of, the school is located in like an impoverished area. Mm-hmm. Well, so, I kind of built that for the people at the school and the people around the community. And what was really interesting, I really enjoyed, is that the students make books and it's like their pictures and stuff like that. We were able to put those books in there. So that was awesome.
So you had something to start it with. That's a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
I always found it interesting. I didn't do that for my Eagle Scout, but I've been to a few that have. The initial books that go in there are so fun to see what people donate. They do similar things. They'll take a regular book and they'll make fresh book covers that are artistic and cool. Those I've seen some really neat stuff over the years for that. That's a good Eagle Scout project, and we need more of those in every community.
Yeah,
I think books are very important. I know Walker feels the same way. He's got 5 libraries among 2 or 3 houses. I mean, he's got so many books. I don't know how he ever had time to read any of them. But either way, the community needs to read more. I'm an avid reader and book listener too. Can't get enough of it.
All right, everybody. Speaking of books, y'all look at my website can be found on this, and I have. I've written a bunch of books, and so y'all can find those books, and some of them have been converted into audio books, so you don't even have to read. You can just listen to them when you're driving to work or something, or there in your jail cell, when you're doing big time, you can listen to books on tape and wish you were out doing the things that the characters in the books are doing, So,
that's hilarious.
I did a lot of criminal law type stuff, so I'm there you go.
All those guys you put away. I'm just kidding.
No, I didn't.
I know you did. No. You tried to get them out. No, I know.
Right. It was Carson's uncle that put them away. And hey, Carson, the guys down the Atlanta jail would say, they go, "Oh, what prosecutor got you got?" And they go, "Oh, Tom Jones." "Oh, he's the barbecue man."
Barbecue man. Hey, that was my nickname in college. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't go to college.
Well, Tommy would get them cooked. He was a great prosecutor.
Oh, get them cooked. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Terminology.
Well, it's, some people, I heard about a guy that said, "I'm going to go help the brothers and visit the brothers in prison." And I got around and started talking. Mm-hmm. And some of those guys need to be there. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's sad. And
terribly sad.
And it's one of the things that I think about scouting is that we try to, all, especially little boys of Cub Scout age, want to be part of a little gang. So why not have it be a den of Cub Scouts?
Exactly.
With a moral base to it, and do your best. Not learn to rap or do some junk that's not useful, but do your best and learn this little skill and learn this little first aid stuff. I remember they're doing first aid even in Cub Scouts. So, all right, team.
All right, everybody.
At that time,
you nailed it. You nailed it. Thanks for being on, Carson. Thank you, Walker.
Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah,
it was a pleasure. It really was.
And thanks everyone who's listening now, and for whoever's listening later. See you next time on Aids to Scouting.
All right. Bye-bye.